Hello there, people of the internet. This video is probably going to be one that irritates some people, and I understand. We all have our own opinions about things. However, this right here, I'm sure you guys can figure out, is a shotgun. And I think that if you're going to be someone who owns only one single firearm, because you're not necessarily a gun nut like the rest of us, if you're watching this video, odds are you're probably a gun nut. But if you could only own one firearm, this is probably the one that I would go with. Not this exact one, but some kind of shotgun, just because of the versatility of the platform. Now, I'm sure you guys noticed that right there. We'll go ahead and talk about that here in a second, but I want to go ahead and talk about the shotgun real quick. The shotgun has a lot of really, really good things going for it, but it does have its limitations. However, if you're not necessarily a gun guy, then those limitations aren't going to be nearly as hindering as somebody who is a gun guy, and we'll talk more about that here in a little while as well. Let's talk about the shotgun itself. The shotgun has a variety of different cartridges that can be fired from it, ranging from incredibly lightweight stuff to some incredibly powerful and potent stuff. So, if you're concerned about shotguns and the amount of recoil that they have, then maybe something like some birdshot or some lighter weight stuff might be more up your alley. Granted, there's some limitations with that birdshot, although it does have its capabilities within specific distances. Just understand the limitations of what birdshot actually is and does. And what it is it's little tiny pieces of lead or steel or whatever kind of birdshot it is that you get. And they're like the size of about 1/4 of the mass of a normal BB that you would see fired from a BB gun. And that really lightweight stuff is just not all that effective as you get out to farther and farther distances. And the projectiles themselves are just not very heavyweight. They're not designed for large critters. They're designed to take out small things. But if something like birdshot is not enough to handle whatever job it is that you're looking to handle, let's say you're trying to go after something a little bit bigger, you could upgrade to some buckshot. These right here are larger projectiles going downrange. If that has too much recoil for you, they actually make reduced recoil buckshot. So this right here should be able to handle like 90% of the stuff it is that you're looking to handle, whether or not you're looking to take game or to protect yourself. This right here is what is the main go-to for most shotgun users, unless we're talking about people looking to get the cheapest thing possible, in which case a lot of people will just kind of stockpile birdshot and call it good enough. If you're looking for something that has a little bit more powerful capabilities and a little bit more range, you could go out and get yourself a slug. This is one solid piece of lead that goes downrange, and it makes your shotgun a dramatically powerful and versatile firearm that can touch out to some significant distances. I've seen these slugs taken out to up to 300 yards away. That is quite a distance, well beyond the capabilities of what the average person is able to accurately shoot anyway. So if that is your limitations, then something like an excuse for a rifle being a longer range firearm. If you can't utilize that longer range, then you may as well enjoy the versatility of your closer range systems. Now, normally with 12 gauge, and I do recommend that you go with 12 gauge, it's just one of the most common shotgun platforms out there. If not, then go with 20 gauge. It is probably the second most common platform for shotguns out there. If your normal 2 3/4 inch shell for your 12 gauge, which is going to be by far your most common shotgun shell, if that's not powerful enough for you, they do make Magnum shotgun shells. This particular one is a 3-inch shell. Make sure your shotgun can handle Magnum shells, because these definitely do have a much, much more potent load inside of them. So plenty of Magnum shells out there, plenty of Magnum styles. You can get buckshot, birdshot, slugs, all sorts of Magnum stuff, depending on what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you're looking to do. Those right there are some incredibly potent rounds. So with a shotgun, you got anywhere from incredibly lightweight, light recoiling, low capability rounds to things that can touch out to the distances that are beyond what most people are capable at shooting anyway, to things that are extraordinarily powerful or extraordinarily universal. It's just a really, really good platform to have if you're only going to have one platform. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to point towards 22 long rifle, which is what I have right here. I got, well, this is actually a mix of all sorts of different kinds of 22 long rifle. 22 long rifle, and we're not talking about 22 Magnum, which is a significantly less common cartridge than 22 long rifle. 22 long rifle is a projectile that, from a long barrel, it's a 40 grain projectile that's going to travel about 1,200 or so feet per second. Definitely capable at doing quite a bit. I know that like a world record grizzly bear was taken with 22 long with proper shot placement. I think the lady hit it in the eye and then a bunch of times in the head at basically point blank range, and I don't care how big and tough you are, even if you are a record-setting grizzly bear, that's going to put anything down. But 22 long rifle definitely has the capabilities of handling quite a bit. However, just understand the limitations of the cartridge. With proper shot placement, you can achieve a lot, but in terms of like a heated situation where maybe something or someone is trying to hurt you, good luck getting that proper shot placement. You got to, you got to have enough energy transfer onto your target to be able to put that target down, especially if it's something larger than a human. And 22 long rifle is just not something that I would trust to be able to handle that situation. However, something like a Magnum 1 ounce shotgun slug, this is a 2 3/4 inch, but a Magnum shotgun slug from a 12 gauge shotgun, that would put something down very rapidly, especially if you got 6 or 7 rounds of that inside of your shotgun. That could pretty much stop a rhino in its tracks, especially as it got up close and personal to you. So just because of the increase in power capabilities with the 12 gauge shotgun, that is one of the reasons why I say it has a little bit more of an advantage over something like 22 long rifle. 22 long rifle definitely has its fair share of advantages. I'm sure you guys know just how small and lightweight and cheap the cartridges are, especially in comparison to something like this right here. This is much larger than one of these. You could carry probably about, oh, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I got a box of them right here. This is 50 rounds of 22 long rifle, and this is 1 shotgun shell. I could probably fit 2 shotgun shells in the same space that I could fit 50 rounds of 22 long rifle. So if ammunition size and weight is one of your main concerns, let's say you're going to be putting a situation where you have to leave and move around, maybe a 12 gauge is not going to be the best option for you. But if you're in a situation where you are on a homestead or you don't plan on going anywhere, then this right here is probably going to be your best option. So now let's start leaning into some other things that people would say would be a better option than, say, a shotgun. A lot of people, I'm sure, would say the AR platform in 223, 556 is going to be your best option for any sort of situation. And I could absolutely understand that. From a combat perspective, I would take an AR over a shotgun any day of the week. However, if you're an American looking to only own 1 firearm, odds are you're not going to be put inside of a combat situation. Definitely that possibility, don't get me wrong, but the odds of it happening are very, very significantly slim. Way more slim than you taking your shotgun out to get some game for food or to take care of some varmints that are harassing whatever it is that they're harassing. The likelihood of you needing an AR-15, like the capabilities of the AR-15 over the capabilities of the shotgun, is just very, very, very slim here inside of the US. Now, it could definitely potentially still happen. We saw situations in like 2020 and 2021 where people were literally rioting and burning down cities and whatnot, and having a 30 round capacity inside of an AR versus a 6 or 7 round capacity inside of a shotgun would definitely be ideal, especially with the speed of reloading that AR. You could reload that 30 rounds in the same amount of time it would take you to load 1 single round of a shotgun shell. So in the guise of a defensive situation, I definitely foresee the necessity of having that extra firepower that something like the AR or even the AK, or insert your choice of modern fighting rifle here. I definitely 110% foresee the benefits of that. However, there's also a lot of drawbacks. Something like 223, 556, just like with the 22 long rifle, that has a 1 type of power limitation. You have that 223, 556 round and the power that it offers, and that is it. Versus something like the shotgun, where you have variety of different powers, variety of different cartridges, variety of all sorts of stuff with this particular setup. Now, if you're a hand loader, then of course you could load your 223, 556 to like be subsonic ammunition. You could do a lot with that, but hand loading is off the table. You can do whatever you want with hand loading, no matter the platform it is that you're running. Most people are not hand loaders though, and odds are if you only own one firearm, you're not going to be a hand loader either. So the limitations of that firearm are you only get what the 223 556 can do and has to offer, versus something like this right here, which can literally be anything. And whenever I say that, I mean literally anything. If you want to shove screws or washers or nails, nuts, bolts, rocks, whatever it is inside of your shotgun shell, you can fire that from your shotgun, versus something like a rifle, which needs a particular sized cartridge and caliber to be able to fire through that thing. And that's one of the benefits, one of the huge benefits of having a platform like this, the fact that you can make ammunition out of pretty much anything. And if you get yourself a manually operating system like this pump action shotgun right here, then you can actually very easily, I'm not going to teach you all how because YouTube is against it, but you can look it up and it's very easy to do. You can make your own black powder to run through these shotgun shells if gunpowder is a limiting factor for you. So between being able to make your own gunpowder and your own projectiles, I mean, yeah, there's even ways to remake your primers on the back. Look up the match head way. There's a way to make primers that I've seen done using match heads. Basically, you take the match head and the, I'm not quite sure what it's called, what you strike the match head across on the box. You take like a knife or something, you scrape some of that off, and then you mash it into a fine powder, and that right there actually explodes on impact. And you stuff that into your primer. A lot of times I'll use alcohol to kind of pack it down, and then you wait for the alcohol to dry, and then you got yourself a remade primer, and you could remake that primer multiple times. I've done it multiple times. My bottom line with what I'm saying here is that the ammunition is very easy to make if you are in a situation where getting ammunition is not that easy. As we saw with all the panicking and whatnot that was going on, 223, 556, and 9mm, and your common cartridges like that flew off the shelves and were basically unavailable and unobtainable. So only people who had like unusual firearms and unusual chamberings were able to find ammunition for their firearms. So maybe having the most common cartridge is not going to be ideal in a situation like that, and maybe having something where you can make your own ammunition exceptionally easy might be a good way to go. Even if you're not a reloader, you can make your own ammo with shotgun shells. They don't have to be precise. They don't have to be nearly as exact as, say, a modern centerfire cartridge. They don't have to be as exact as a brass case cartridge. A lot of times whenever I reload these, I will actually, I don't know if I have any near me, but I got brass shotgun shells that I have reloaded I don't know how many times. But to reload those, a lot of people think that you need all these special tools to reload. What I do to reload those is I basically reload them much like how I reload a black powder shotgun. Like, if we had a non-cartridge firing black powder shotgun that was a muzzleloader, I just do that, but with shotgun shells. I got the primer on the back, I put the powder inside of it, and then I take paper towel, wad, or whatever it is that I have, stuff it into that shotgun shell. I put my shot on top of that, and then I use another wad or paper towel or rag or whatever it is I have laying around, piece of cork, cardboard, twigs and sticks and whatnot. You can utilize a lot of different stuff for that. But I stuffed that into that shotgun shell, and there we go. We got ourselves a shotgun shell that was extraordinarily easy to reload, and I can load it with whatever it is that I want. Then you can do the same thing with shotgun shells like this, just understand the limitations that these are plastic and they're probably not going to last all that long. Anyway, I think I've made my point here. For the average person, for the most likely scenarios, for the most capability of the platform, I'd have to give all of those to the shotgun. 22 long rifle, definitely a close second, but just because of the power limitations, I would have to give it to the shotgun, especially if you're not going to be moving around a lot. If you are in a situation where you are going to be moving around a lot, then maybe 22 long rifle might be more up your alley. But something like the shotgun would definitely be a really good option for a one type of firearm for somebody who's not going anywhere. Maybe they're on a homestead or a ranch or in a spot that they feel comfortable staying in the event that something happens, or if they just need that particular shotgun to handle their everyday life. So that's my point on it. Hopefully you guys at least enjoyed watching, even if this did not change your mind. Or if you agree with me or disagree with me, then I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments below. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. The description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.